now. Listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it. It's time for Max World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Matt 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
Good afternoon. It is 4:07 in the afternoon on a Friday. Going home time. Next week, Thanksgiving week. Are you excited about it? Now, how many, in all seriousness, have you started putting Christmas lights up around your house?
Last night.
Did you
70
really?
degrees, T-shirt. It was awesome.
That was probably the best night to do it, was last night.
It was great.
I have to say my wife has a tree up already.
My wife
her heart.
got the tree out today, so I don't know what that means, but I think it's coming up.
We love Christmas.
I love all three of you gentlemen. There are three wonderful men here from Safe Water International Ministries on Max World Live on 99.3 FM, but you hurt me. I'm from Texas, and where I'm from, we don't do Christmas till at least after Thanksgiving.
Oh.
But I've come to learn with weather the way it is around here, you might best get on it before things get pretty bad.
I don't turn the lights on until after Thanksgiving.
Right.
But if it's warm out and I don't, I'm a fool.
That's the reality. See, I'm the fool that's going to wait as it gets, and then I won't be able to do it. Frankly,
there's ice on the ladder and ice on the roof, and you fall and break.
And then I just won't do it. But yeah, I haven't whipped out the Christmas music yet. I haven't done any of that stuff. There are lights up inside my house. My wife threatened that she'd put the Christmas tree up, but I can't not tell. We've got family coming in, and we've got to wait.
I'm doing it easy this year.
What are you going to do, Bob?
That laser thing. Just stick it in your lawn, turn it on, and
do it from a distance.
Your house
all the
up.
little lights, yeah.
The lasers.
You don't have to climb on ladders. You don't have to untangle lights. Right.
What, this is like a Pink Floyd laser light show?
One little, like some little bulb thing. You just stick it in the ground, and it just flashes red and green digital lights all over your house.
Exactly. You can do it way easier.
Bob,
no work.
When I was a kid, my dad was so cheap. We had a tinsel Christmas tree, one of those silver things.
Yeah.
And he had this light bulb behind this blue, orange, red,
we had
yellow
the same thing
that turned and made the tree turn different colors.
One of those too.
Because he didn't want to put up Christmas
We did.
lights.
We had one of those.
I'm trying to think. Was that in the 60s?
Yeah,
I think it was 60s.
At least.
You don't know what we're talking about, Chris.
No, I do know what you're talking about. That's why it's so funny. Yeah, that's wild. That is absolutely wild.
Well, you couldn't put the lights on the tinsel, could you? Because of fire?
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
But that's what the little thing was. That was what the bulb and you just shone the light on the tree.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody can visualize one right now that knows what that is. That's fantastic. Well, it is so good to have you guys with us today here on 99.3 FM. We had a really fun first hour. We're going to learn a lot more. Safe Water, the regular cast of characters are here. If you want to communicate with us, I don't know. I mean, maybe you've already put up your Christmas tree. Let us know. 515-809-0993. You're welcome to send us a text, or you could call us at 515-809-0993. You've heard me talk about on the radio about Safe Water International Ministries. We're talking a lot about Safe Water because I'm going to tell you, I'm really excited about this. I have learned about a ministry based right here in Iowa that is changing lives dramatically around the world. And I'm excited to be a part of it, and I'm excited that you are going to be able to be a part of it too. Safe Water International Ministries, their vision is to share Christ's love through water and his word. Infected water around the world contributes to 25,000 deaths every day. That's water that's infected. People are dying because they're drinking infected water. And that can be stopped. It's a preventable problem. But it doesn't just happen just because we wish it away. there's this really cool technology, and I'm going to be honest, I geek out a little bit about the technology. You guys talk over my head a little bit, but I still geek out about this technology. This simple, easy-to-use, portable, safe water device, Safe Water International Ministries calls it a CPU, which stands for Chlorine Producing Unit. What this device does is it creates chlorine, good chlorine that's a disinfectant, right? I mean, we use chlorine to clean things here in the United States, and that same, not quite the same, right? But chlorine like that.
Yeah, for flooded areas, I mean, the people in Cedar Rapids could understand this, or people in Des Moines who had their house flooded.
Yeah.
You go in and you tear all the drywall out, and you'll see the black mold that starts to grow on the 2x4s. Well, what you do is you take the same stuff, this chlorine from this unit, and you dilute it 20-to-1 ratio. So for every 1 part of chlorine, you put 20 parts of water, and you put it in a backpack, and you go through and you spray all the 2x4s to soak it in to kill all the mold. So yeah, you can use it at that ratio for cleaning vegetables, for spraying countertops, for cleaning purposes. So we have a number of folks in India that are using it just for that purpose as cleaning products.
But this chlorine, though, the way you guys do it, you have a different measurement, but that is consumable. You can drink it when it's, right? Not the chlorine, but the...
Right. You take the chlorine, you add it to water at a ratio of 10 drops per liter. In 30 minutes, it kills all the pathogens. You can drink it. It's safe. That's river water, stream water, pond water, any water that you're getting.
That's so cool. Well, and you guys talked about this. There's a lot of ministries, organizations around the world that dig wells, and digging a well is really cool. It's a great thing to do. It's a great way to get water to a place that doesn't have water. But Terry Butler and I were talking about this with Fritz Trost the other day, and water gathered from these wells oftentimes will be then stored in cisterns. And sometimes these cisterns the tops of these cisterns are actually ground level. What they'll do is they'll take the water, then put it in a device or in a large bucket that then bury it in the ground. And the top of the water level is right at the ground level. Well, all kinds of stuff. You think of animals running around, even just human bugs, fecal matter, all that can get into that water. And then that's the water that's going into their house or that people are taking to various places. And it's infected, and it's making people very, very sick. With this CPU, with this safe water device, they can use salt, extract from the salt the chlorine, if I'm saying this right, and then that solution that they make can be added to that water right there in that cistern. Probably not the best place to put it, frankly, but it could be added to that water, and it takes out the pathogens, removes the bacteria, the disease that is in there. I keep saying disease, and Bob keeps looking at me funny, but the infection, the bacteria that's in there.
The last time I was in Haiti, I stayed at the compound where Many Hands for Haiti has their feeding center.
Yeah,
and I didn't know it because I was there on a project with Partners Worldwide, and I come out of the front door and I look over to my right, and there's these two guys sitting down on the front porch, and they have a CPU in their hand, and they're making chlorine. I'm thinking to myself, I didn't bring that here. How did that get here? And I asked them what they're doing, and they said, well, they have the tank on the roof is marked. And they know when there's so much water in the tank, they have to make so much chlorine. And then they make that much chlorine, go up on the roof, dump it in the tank. And anything you shower or bathe or eat or drink is safe at the compound. And so I thought, that's why I'm a living testimony of the fact that I didn't get sick.
There you go. Well, it's such a cool and easy to use device, and it's neat to hear stories of how people are using it in different ways as they learn how to operate this thing. It's not like Pastor Terry Pollard is with us as well from New Sharon United Methodist Church in New Sharon, Iowa, hence the name. And you shared this story about when you were in Haiti, this orphanage that had this huge $10,000 water filtration system, this big, complicated, blah, blah, blah. And because of lack of $30 to replace a filter, they couldn't use it. But this thing is simple to use and is more effective, frankly, than a unit like that. But Bob?
I had some questions to ask about the unit. We were talking earlier during the break, but you said that there was a unit, because I asked you how long a unit would last, and you said that one unit made how many gallons of chlorine?
Over a period of time after the earthquake in Nepal, we rushed a number of units, 100 units actually, to that area. And there was one unit in a particular area where they, with the help of a contact from SWIM, they set up a small bottling plant. And they made 75,000 gallons of chlorine over a period of years. And so eventually the bottom, there's a plate, 2 plates in there, and one of them isn't plated. And whether they didn't rinse it out and it corroded, we don't know. But 75,000 gallons of chlorine is a lot of chlorine.
And that was over the course of how many years, though? Do you remember? I think.
When was the earthquake in Nepal? 3-4 years ago?
That's probably 3 years ago. Yeah. So it's been.
And that's a lot of use.
Okay.
That's a lot.
That's taking something like this and making it into a, like you said, a production facility.
Now, I looked this up just so people have an idea, but a 25-foot by 45-foot size pool, okay, 25 by 45 feet, 5 feet deep, will hold 42,000 gallons.
So 2 of those.
2 of those.
So, yeah, like 50 by 90, 5 foot deep. And that, of course, would make, if you're only taking drops, in a liter or whatever it is, just imagine how many gallons of water that would purify.
Yeah, they were distributing little bottles from that location, especially during the monsoon season. They were just distributing those by the thousands.
It when I sit here and just hear these stories, I mean, I've heard a lot of these, but I always think of the song, "Little is much when God is in it."
Oh, amen.
So you're taking a little bit, and look what's happening.
Wow.
Literally around the world.
Absolutely. Find out more right now. We're going to talk more about this. You can ask your questions. Give us a call, 515-244-0077, or send us a text at 515-809-0993 for your questions for the guys from Safe Water International Ministries, swimforhim.org.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza, and it's got Graziano sausage.
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for the opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Good afternoon. This is Max World Live. Live is the key word on 99.3 FM, The Truth. I'm Chris Roloff, filling in for J. Michael McCoy today. The guys from Safe Water International Ministries are our guests. You've heard us talk about Safe Water International Ministries, and I'm just going to be real blunt here. If you think this sounds cool and you think, wow, I want to support this, but I've got X question, or I want to know this, or I don't understand this thing, or I have a question, now is the time to call and get that question answered. It's really easy. They're very nice guys. They didn't make fun of me once, and I say all kinds of stupid stuff. You can give us a call at 515-244-0077. It's 515-244-0077. Give Jeb a call. You can ask questions to the team of Safe Water International Ministries about the work that they're doing, how this thing works, the lives that it's changing. But if you're already convinced and you think this is really cool, you can do something that is also cool to me. I think it would be neat. You go to swimforhim.org, swimforhim.org, and you'll see a button on there that says donate. You can give money. We've been talking about this chlorine-producing unit. It's called a CPU. You're going to see that. It's a portable safe water device. This device creates chlorine that can be used to disinfect water. And we're not talking about small amounts of water. We're talking about large amounts of water, and I'm not going to bore you with liters and all that kind of stuff. Just know that one of these things can create enough safe water, disinfected water, for 10,000 people every day. This thing creates a lot of safe water for people, and it's not a big deal to the folks here in the United States. We don't worry about water. But in remote villages around the world, this is a huge deal. This is the difference between life and death. Pastor Terry Butler, sorry, I keep saying that. Pastor Terry Pollard, Terry Butler is the other one, the non-pastor. You're not allowed to be a pastor today. Maybe later. There's still time. Pastor Terry Pollard told us the story, and he shared with us the life change, how radical people's eyes are open. They see their dirty, infected water changed right in front of their eyes, and they're overwhelmingly excited. If you want to give to that, to build one of these CPU devices, the chlorine-producing units, the kit that goes with this, which is instructions and all that, discipleship material, it costs $50. That's simple. You can radically change the life of 10,000 people for $50. A one-time gift of $50 would enable them to build one of these devices. They have orders right now for hundreds. I can't remember. I should have written it down before we came here. We calculated
364.
364 of these units. There are requests for these to be built right now. 364 of these to be built. So they need the money to build them. That's how this works. Safe Water International Ministries doesn't have a building. They don't have a staff. They don't pay a bunch of people. They build these units to get safe, clean water around the world. So go to swimforhim.org, swimforhim.org, so you can donate there. Any amount that you want to donate is just fine. They will put it to good use, but I will let you know that one of these units, the kits that they produce, costs $50.
I had a question for anybody that wants
real quick, actually. Earl, you wanted to say something?
You mentioned donate. Our source in Haiti that we support, he said, Earl, you can send me as many of these CPUs as you want. But he said, I can't take them out into the communities unless I have a battery, solar panel, charge controller. So for every one of these units in Haiti and Africa in particular, we have an additional cost of about $200 to support one of our CPUs. And that's really what we're running into right now. We can make our units, but we need the money to support them with a battery, solar panel, and charge controller for an extra $200. And that's one of the big needs we have at the moment.
Yeah, the big reason for that is, and if anybody's ever been in some of these developing countries, there'll be 6 people on a motorcycle, and that's because the driver is using the motorcycle as a taxi. And a pickup truck, is either hauling a lot of goods or it has 40 people hanging on it. because it's used as a tap to be able to commute and take people around. So it's hard to park that, tie it up to be able to use that battery. In a lot of the rural areas, they don't even have a motorcycle or truck, and there's no electricity. And so how else are you going to be able to treat the water without being able to have a solar panel to recharge the battery?
Right, because what happens is the big fancy word, and I'm going to say it, I don't know what it means. Electrolysis. Huh?
Very good.
You guys, the smart guys smile. They're like, that's a real word. He doesn't know what it means, but it's a real word. So you use electrolysis because there's what's really cool is there's little mini jumper cables at the end of this thing because this has to be hooked up to a power source to convert the salt water, table salt and water mixed together, runs through electrolysis, and you're going to explain to me what that means to create the chlorine, right?
Right.
Well, don't explain to me the details of we don't have to have that class right now. Sorry.
I had a question for any of the three of you. There's situations, I was told by an atheist friend of mine whose girlfriend was over with the Peace Corps type thing in a certain village, and they had fresh water being piped into the village in a pipeline, and people sabotaged the pipe line to disrupt that so that they could continue with their black market selling for beads and trinkets water. Is there any follow-up on your team's part when you leave somewhere that these devices aren't stolen, confiscated, taken away from the people they're left with? Is there any way to know that? Earl or Terry, anyone that wants to jump in?
There's multiple places where we have I'll call them swim people on the ground. So they're nationals that are there that we've worked with, and they will go back to these communities and they'll visit, make sure there's no questions, and they will verify these CPUs are being used. In fact, if they're not, they'll take them back. We haven't really experienced anywhere that I know of anybody commandeering them and using them for black market or some other reason. We have found sometimes people aren't using them.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll take them back. There are people that want to use them, so we want to get them in their hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's really a pretty foolproof system.
Right.
And the key is that, as Earl said, you usually have, like in the case of Haiti, a lot of times you have a pastor who's working that community, and so he has the unit. It's not like there's multiple units in the community. There's a source that they go to, right, Earl? Like they go to a health clinic, or you said something like they go to a church, Terry.
Yeah, so for
they have
example,
to go to a place to get what they want. It's just not like there's 10 of these in a community, right?
Right. Fritz Trost just went to Central India.
Right.
He took in a suitcase 91 CPUs. He had some pastoral conferences, 3 of them, where he trained 435 pastors on the mobilized followership, discipleship process. He serial numbered those 91 units, and when he gave them out, there's a record book of who has those. And then the contacts there go back to those communities to find out if they're being used. And they were told that, if you're using these to help spread the gospel and provide safe water to your community, fine. If you're not, there were only 91 that we brought. There's another, 300 and some odd pastors that are waiting for one. And so there's a lot of motivation for them to be using them, aside from the fact after they start using it, they figure out that they feel better. They're not sick when they go to work. Their children aren't dying. I mean, it's just...
Yeah. Takes care of itself.
It does, and I think one of the things, and you reminded me, Terry, of one of the things that got me excited about this product in the Safe Water International Ministries, and that is that you think about that. If you've ever had food poisoning, right? You ever just felt sick? You're throwing up. It's an awful feeling. I hate it.
Bad news.
It is bad news. I do not like it. I'm a wuss. I'm a wimp. When I get sick, you don't want to be around me. I'm a crybaby. We've all been there. If this is your normal, semi-normal state, because of the water that you have access to, is giving you this extreme diarrhea and it's making you sick. What was just mind-blowing to me is we talk about how the chlorine that this device produces can disinfect the water. But Fritz talked about when the person who's been ingesting this infected water for so long starts drinking this disinfected water, what it starts doing to the inside of them. It actually starts cleaning out the inside of them, getting rid of the bacteria that's in them that's making them sick, actually makes them better. We're not just talking about disinfecting water. We're talking about disinfecting people. I mean, this is really about human beings who are suffering. They're unable to work. You think about the father of a family who's got to go to work. He's got to get up every morning, and he just can't. He gets to a point where he's just too sick. To drink this water, not only does it help the community around him, but it'll help him. It actually heals his body from the inside out. How cool is that? You know that Hillsong song, From the Inside Out? Mm-hmm. This stuff heals the body from the inside out. And that really got me excited.
You could probably give the Bible lesson on the back end of one of those CPUs. You know, I mean,
oh, yeah.
Because Greg talks about, you know, bad things are in this water. Bad things produce bad things. So sin is in your life. It produces bad things. And Jesus is the living water, and he came to fix that, give you, give you new life. I mean, I just think the marriage of a CPU and the gospel is like the best thing that could ever happen. I mean, it's made to fit.
Yeah.
The story is easy to tell, and it makes sense to people. And even if they're a Muslim or a Hindu or wherever, they understand that whole piece. I mean, Earl, you've been to India. And you got lots of stories about just seeing that whole evangelistic piece of this, which I think is the thing that amazes me, is that you already have a captive audience. I mean, how hard is it to get into villages in India with the gospel? But you get to walk in kind of free gratis at invitation. I mean, Terry, you've probably got lots of stories too, just about, well, you shared the one about just how you get into those communities, and now you've got stories coming back of people actually coming to Christ because somebody got in with a CPU.
So if you're using this in the handheld method by hand and you're only making 5 ounces at a time, it takes about 5 minutes to make that much. So you have some conversation you can have with people. But if you take the bottom off and you submerge it into a bucket of water with about 4 pounds of salt, you have 90 minutes to sit there and talk to people about what's going on in the bucket, but then also to bring up scripture verses like we read where Jesus replied to the woman at the well. He says, people soon become thirsty again after drinking this well water, but the water I give takes away thirst altogether. It becomes a perpetual spring within them, giving them eternal life. So it's just a natural conversation to talk about this water, how it makes you and your family healthy so you can live, and how Christ came, this guy named Jesus, came to help us live here while we're here, but better yet, eternally.
Absolutely. If you've got a question for the guys at Safe Water International Ministries, I'd like you to call us at 515-244-0077. If you've got a question about what Safe Water International Ministries does or anything, or you can send us a text with your question at 515-809-0993. If you're motivated right now and want to learn more and see this thing in action, go to swimforhim.org, swimforhim.org. We've got a phone call and some questions when we come back.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Good afternoon. It is 4:38 in the afternoon on a Friday. You're getting ready to go home, prepare for Thanksgiving week. And this week, here's what I want you to do next week. I want you to share with your friends, with your family. I want you to go to swimforhim.org. It's very simple. I'm going to do that. I've got relatives coming in from out of town. Go to swimforhim.org and show them the videos that are there about this, and talk to your friends and family about Safe Water International Ministries and how thankful we are for clean, safe drinking water in the United States, and how we can participate in providing safe, infection-free, clean water to people around the world. Can you do that for me? I'm going to do that this week as we give thanks coming up next week. If you've got a question for Safe Water International Ministries, go ahead and give us a call at 515-244-0077. We got 3 representatives from SWIM here. That's what we call them around the 99.3 hood, and we call them SWIM. But we got Jonathan called in. Jonathan, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. And gentlemen, thanks for everything you're doing. This sounds like a really awesome piece of technology that's just, blessing people in big ways. And you mentioned earlier about the well equipment and the filtration system that was sitting there rusting, and how helping hurts. Have you read that book, When Helping Hurts?
I've not read it. I've heard about it. Matter of fact, I think I have it that someone recently gave me.
Oh, great. I have it on audiobook, and I've listened to it a couple times while shoveling snow late at night and so on. And I was really encouraged and inspired by it. I think some of the big principles the authors get at are that all people are creating God's image, and we are all equally have the capacity for owning our lives, helping ourselves, and so we're all a level playing field initially. Of course, there's broken systems, there's broken worldviews, even people's religion can keep them from just discovering the truth about how the world works. And sometimes one thing they talked about with, especially folks from the West, is coming into these impoverished places and coming in with kind of a matriarchal, motherly type of a attitude, and coming in and saying, "Oh, you need a well," and then they put a well in, get a picture, and then leave, and then it sits rusting, kind of like what you were mentioning earlier. So I was just wondering, how do you see your efforts, and it sounds like you give these units to the people. Is that correct?
Correct.
How do you see them as having buy-in and ownership in the process, and then you come alongside there?
That is a great question, Jonathan. Thank you. That is a very good question, actually.
All fingers point this way.
Everybody was pointing at each other. Who's going to answer it? We have a great answer, actually.
I'll follow up with you, Earl. Go ahead.
Many of the places we go to already have established a network or a process. So, for instance, in Nicaragua, they already have a health commission or a health department, and we just come in, and this is an additional tool for them. So they already have people in place. Jonathan, thanks for calling along the lines that you said helping Hertz. We try to buy our solar panels and charge controllers and batteries all in country for that very reason. Mm-hmm. We support the country that way. We support their economy. And we hear the stories of disasters happening. And then, for instance, water. People send in bottled water. Right. And you think about what it does to the folks in that country that are selling bottled water, trucking bottled water, and all that. It just destroys their industry.
Well, go ahead, Terry. No,
I also work with a group called Partners Worldwide, and Haiti is a perfect example. After the earthquake, there were just tons of do-gooders, I will say, that sent a lot of stuff into the country: clothes, peanut butter, backpacks. Well, they make peanut butter in Haiti, and they make backpacks in Haiti. And so when you flood the economy with all this free stuff, guess what happens to the businesses that make that stuff?
Yeah.
They go out of business. And so you have to be very conscious of how you approach a community to make sure that you're not going to disrupt that community's efforts and or their businesses that are growing as a result out of need. So that's why we are, we believe that, we ask for receipts for the solar panels. We ask for receipts of the batteries and the charge controllers because we want accountability. We want to know where that money went with the people that we're working in country with, so that we're good stewards of what we've been entrusted with. And so, I hope that helps answer the question about what the caller had.
Yeah, absolutely, Jonathan. I could, Terry, you probably want to add.
Yeah,
to this.
I think for me as a pastor in a church, I'm going to ask people to give. It goes back to kind of that old saying, you give somebody a fish, they'll eat for a day, but you teach them how to fish, they'll eat for a lifetime. And what I like about Swim is it's not just a handout. You're going in, you're enabling them to do something they can do for themselves. And often our missions have been, in fact, too many of them are. I've seen it just too many times, especially in like a country like Haiti or some of the other developing countries. The handouts haven't remedied the problem, but those people you teach them how and give them the resource, and they can do it from there. It's huge. It's just huge, and I don't think we've gotten that in mission. So yeah, it's a fabulous point. And frankly, I've got to the point where as a pastor in a church, I won't support missions works that all they're going to do is just give a handout. It's not going to happen. Right. Because there's no sustaining value to that. That's what I like about Swim. Obviously, I'm sold on Swim. So,
well, absolutely. And Jonathan, I would add to that, because that's a really great question. And one of the things Fritz talked about is, and folks that aren't seeing the device in front of them don't recognize that the CPU unit, it's missing the electricity. One of the things Fritz talked about is in these countries, when they go there, one of the buy-ins Jonathan talked about was getting either the solar panel or buying the battery, like a motorcycle battery, small car battery was what you can think of there, to add to this. There's an investment from the community. They're participating in this. And also, I think of, Jonathan, if you're familiar with the book, Revolution in World Missions, was K.P. Yohannan wrote that book about building up native missionaries. Mm-hmm. So instead of white man from America going over there and preaching the gospel, we're training up missionaries in the community to do this work. Safe Water International Ministries is doing the same thing. Part of what is in the CPU kit, the chlorine-producing unit kit, the kit that goes along with the portable safe water device, are the instructions on how to operate this. So Safe Water International Ministries is giving them a tool that they can use locally. Native people are using this on the ground. They are empowered, and they're serving their community. So I think it's a fantastic question, Jonathan, because I think SWIM has a fantastic answer to that. It's one of the many reasons why I'm very excited about what they're doing. So does that help you, Jonathan?
Yeah, and you said you have the community actually purchase the battery and be involved in that end of the process. Yeah,
in India, where we just went, where Fritz was at, where we empowered the pastor with the CPU. Not one person in the church could afford a battery by themselves. Mm-hmm. But if they all put in just a tiny bit, they were able to buy the battery. And so now the church community owns that CPU. They own that process, and they are invested.
What's that battery cost?
Oh, great.
It costs about $80 US.
Is that a motorcycle battery?
Motorcycle battery.
Yeah. So I mean, and I really, like I said, Jonathan, thank you so much. Do you have anything else you want to ask?
No, well, that was kind of the question I had. I heard you guys talk before, and this is something that's kind of my interest, especially inspired by that book, and even seeing myself, like when people give me fish rather than teach me to fish, it kind of even takes away my motivation to learn and to try to use my God-given ingenuity to figure out a way and grow in my abilities. So yeah, that's really good to hear, and I have some friends that might be interested that are in Nepal that might be interested in getting those units as they go out and evangelize and so on and try to reach that country. So
fantastic. Jonathan, thank you so much for calling. Thank you. Continue to listen. Send your friends or anybody you know to swimforhim.org. Swimforhim.org. I'll say it one more time. Swimforhim.org.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcastonelive.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
It's true. It's a Friday, and this might be a really exciting Friday for you because you're going home and next week it's Turkey Week. Okay, that wasn't very. It's Thanksgiving. We'll be more formal. It's not just Turkey Week, but it really is Turkey Week next week. We're here on 99.3 FM The Truth, live and local here in Des Moines with Safe Water International Ministries on a Friday. We're 10 minutes before the top of the hour, and Salem Radio Network News will update us on what's going on around the world. And we just had a fantastic call from Jonathan asking questions about the chlorine-producing unit that Safe Water International Ministries has developed that they give to Christian missionaries, that Christian missionaries then take to remote villages around the world to empower local people, native people, to really create chlorine, which can disinfect their water, radically changing the death rate in communities, saving lives, healing the insides of people, many people who are have been infected by the diseased water, by the infected water. They drink this clean water, this disinfected water. It helps them. It helps the communities. It's a really cool organization. You can find out about SWIM by going to swimforhim.org, swimforhim.org. Check them out. We've got a few more minutes. And Earl, I wanted to ask you a question, and because I said this, and I want people to know, if someone's listening and they know a Christian missionary that's doing some work right now, how do they get in contact with you, or how would they go about partnering with SWIM? Partnering with us. Good. You can go to our website, obviously, and get the phone number off the website, and that will come to me, and we can talk about that. We are very careful to make sure that we give training to folks that take our chlorine-producing units, because you can't just receive it in the mail and put it in your bag and go. I mean, there's some things that we want to talk about first. So you can contact us through the web, the web address that you've been talking about the whole 2 hours, and my phone number's on there, and you can also leave a message on our website as well. What are some ministries that you guys partner with currently? Are there some other organizations or missionaries that you partner with? Well, in India, for instance, we have a guy coming here in a couple of weeks from the Salvation Army in India. We're working with Andy and Debbie Romer in Haiti from Hope Source. Samaritan Purse. We sent a few of them. We've worked with some folks in Franciscan workers in the Liberia after the Ebola outbreak. A group out of Denver called El Porvenir. Actually, that's who we turned our Nicaragua operation over to when we left. We gave them our equipment and trained them. We got a guy down in Bolivia right now who's training some midwives at a compound down there on how to use the units. He delivered 25 to that community there. I'm gonna say a name of a ministry that many people in Des Moines know about. It's Meals from the Heartland, or Meals from the Heartland. Right. Yep. One of the things that people say when they talk about Meals from the Heartland is how fun it is to go down and pack these bags with the food. A lot of people have done this. A lot of families have done that. Safe Water International Ministries has what's called a build. It's very similar to that, except it's for us guys and engineers and stuff. And ladies too. And ladies too. Sorry. And kids 10 and older. And kids 10 and older. All right. Okay. It's really for anybody. It's kind of for everybody. If you like Legos, okay, let's put it. If you like Lego, you like building stuff. This is so cool to be able to participate in putting one of these units together. And what's so great about SWIM is that you guys are local. You guys are here in Des Moines, and you guys have done builds at churches here in the community. You've done builds. We just did one at Foster Financial 2 weeks ago. Right. So if somebody wants to, is there information on the website to get connected with that? Well, once again, you can contact me. But the idea of our CPU build is to get people in a church or organization connected with the ministry. And so there are churches like our church that know the missionary. They build the parts. They finance it. They actually get to go from time to time. So it closes a whole loop for people. Mm-hmm. So what I build, I get to see the end result of, and that is so cool.
So we've done several at our church, and I'm not mechanical at all. I mean, what I know will fit in a thimble. Right, sure, me too. I'm thinking, okay, so I go, they've got to do something mechanical. Well, you put me on that machine. What was that machine that you put me on, Earl? A typewriter. No, it's I can do that.
So we have.
No, I mean, it's like anybody can do this. I'm not mechanical, but they like very quickly, within 5 minutes or less, they showed me how to operate this machine that's going to do some piece of this. I think we're putting on these ends or something.
We solder, we cut wire, we glue.
Everybody can do it. It's like a quick
We water test. We put labels on.
Yeah,
cool.
So it's all fits in the back of a 14x7 enclosed trailer, and we come to you, and in two hours, 2.5 hours, we can build 50 chlorine producing units.
Oh man,
you get to provide the money for the parts and the supplies. You get to get hands on, and then we will share with you the stories.
If I can do it, like anybody can do it, because I'm not mechanical at all. But
and if it's done at we did one at Peace Lutheran, for example, just not too long ago. Some of those CPUs went to the missionaries that they support in their church. And so, we'll do training any time that somebody needs to be trained. We have all the materials that we supply, plus we'll actually do a live demonstration to show people how to use it.
Oh, that's so cool. So very, very cool. Bob, did you have any more technical questions? You were sitting over there just chomping at the bit with all the math and the science and the stuff.
Well, I'm thinking more of other uses for the chlorine that's produced, other than for purifying water.
Right. So when the earthquake in Haiti occurred, there were a lot of amputations, crushing injuries. The chlorine was used in the medical clinics to clean the tools, the surfaces. With the Ebola in Africa, they used it to clean same type things. They put in backpacks, sprayed their feet, walked through it. And in Bolivia, that Terry just talked about, they're using it with midwives in the medical clinics there as well.
And that's normally full strength, correct?
Yeah, it's a 0.7% strength chlorine, so you can make it out of the CPU and use it directly in the medical clinics.
What makes it different than its household bleach?
It doesn't have any caustic soda in it, so the pH is relatively neutral, meaning that if you get it on you, it's not going to burn you like household chlorine, and it's 1/10 of the strength of household chlorine bleach. So it's much safer to handle. You don't need gloves. You don't need protective eyewear when you're handling this stuff.
And taste? There
is no taste.
That
I mean, when you put it in the water,
can't taste it.
You can't taste it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For those that are interested. So can anyone, for instance, order a unit?
Anyone. People buy them off the web from us.
Okay.
You got more. I can see you got more questions.
Yes, more. But the thing is, when you clean it, you got to make sure you clean it.
Just rinse
properly.
it with water when you get
clean
done.
water.
Yeah, well, you can use the same reservoir water as long as you just want to get the residual chlorine off the plates on the inside. So all you have to do is just rinse it.
Do you rinse it out after every use?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. If you're going to let it sit, every use. Yep.
So much cool stuff. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time.
You bet.
It's been our pleasure. Thank you.
We're out of time.
Thanks so much.
We're going to do this again.
It's
Terry,
fabulous.
Great to meet you, brother.
Yeah, you too.
Keep
This
up the good
is
work.
fun.
Well, we try.
Great. Do it again.
please do it again. All right. Hey, check out swimforhim.org. That's the website, swimforhim.org. Check it out. Pray about how God might be calling you to get involved with this really cool gospel-centered organization. Thanks for listening to 99.3 FM. We aren't done broadcasting for the day, just this little part. Up next is Hank Hanegraaff, the Bible Answer Man.